off with, but everything else is fair game. I'm going to keep you for one more minute before I have you guys all spread out and have some fun at your last stop. There's a reason why I give that heated warning. What do you have?
Karen popped up.
Karen.
Karen.
I don't know who the hell Karen is.
Yeah.
I got nothing. That was not the name of the ship, if that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah.
I doubt she was a Karen asking for a manager. So, there's a reason why I give you guys that heated warning. So back in September of last year, I brought my group back here just like this, and it wasn't very humid or hot at all. The kid next to me goes white as a ghost. Like literally I have to pick him up because he's about to drop and hit his head on the pavement. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side, and we get him over to that wall. He's feeling better after a bottle of water, yada yada. I then tell the story. It's important to know that he doesn't know the story of Anne Bonny that you now know. They pull me aside after I spread everybody out with their devices and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are two transgender males. Meaning I had two females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, on the tour. And it made complete sense to them as to why one of them about passed out the minute we entered the space. These are the uncanny things I can't explain. That's why I always blame weather first, because we just never know. I don't know what them two gentlemen did during the daytime, but it is what it is. I still continue to tell this heated warning night after night after night. Those of you with cameras, you can go to the front of the powder magazine, meaning you can exit the lot and make a left. The only thing I ask is you stay out of the way of other tours. You can shine your lasers in there, Miss Joni. Make sure the lasers stay on the lawn of the powder magazine if you're going to shine in the front of it. Otherwise, you're going to be shining in somebody's living room, because those are apartments right now. Don't go high. Just going to keep it down on the ground. As far as everybody else, the spirit box is loud and proud. Let's get that thermal imaging camera running, and I think, and as far as yours goes, we're definitely going after the REM. You're not going to get a lot of numbers out of this thing.
Turn it back on?
Yeah, absolutely. The cool thing about your device is a few weeks ago, we asked Anne Bonny her hair color, and she showed us using your device. We moved to a different area of the space, and she showed us again. The weird thing is we don't get that color very often, because that means somebody actually has to touch. Oh, you didn't turn it on all the way. To get that touch, to get the color red, somebody has to touch it. And we've never actually had that on a demand before, but it happened here like 2 weeks ago. So ask what her hair color is. Maybe she'll show you. So have some fun with this, guys. This will be our last stop. We'll know what's going on here within the first 5-7 minutes or so. So crank those spirit boxes. Let's do this.
All right.
I'll be hanging out by the wall up there.
I'll wait until we get there to shine the laser.
Well, let's investigate.
Literally investigate.
You want to
Check
investigate
your
it.
colors, Jared. I won't turn this on until we get to the grass or the magazine or whatever. Where are you guys going? Wherever that is. I don't know.
What do you go out up front, he said? And then, I guess in front
We
of
have
this
to go
building.
down here to the left, I think. Hear anything, Lauren?
In front of this old building from 300 years ago. Powder magazine.
Oh, we can't go in there.
Yeah, so here's where you can do the wages and the lawn, he said, and stuff. Guillotine. Oh, you don't know.
Ooh. It's like I'm not even moving it, it's just moving. It seems to be like something, and I'm not really moving it. Okay.
Blame a ghost. I saw him knock it out of your hands. pillory. And that's where they chopped the people's heads off. So the pillory, it shows the guy's head through there. So I guess they must have put him in the stockades or whatever.
Take the big axe and
No, I don't think they killed him there, probably. They probably just, or did they? I can't tell.
punishment. You
It'd be
stand
cool to
out
see
there all
this during
day.
the day when you can actually go in there.
Could have just held them there like.
Yeah, it could be like a stockade thing, whatever they call it. We'll have to see what that is.
You see that guy up there on the right? See the sign on the right?
What was I taking a picture of?
That with his head through there and the arms. That was more of an embarrassment.
It's more of a punishment for what you did.
Yeah, but it never.
Try the green one.
They don't do the same thing.
Okay.
What are you supposed to see there?
Well, I think I'm looking at her laser, and then it picks up if anything crosses through the laser.
Ooh. Where'd that guy go? Guess he comes up here. This is where it ends, right?
Well, I could go back over there where he is.
Oh, okay.
That should be enough.
Yeah, we got enough data.
Any colors? New colors there? Oh.
I didn't get any colors at all. Let me see what's going on with these other spirit boxes. Patricia, you got anything?
I just heard the word caster. I don't know what that means.
Caster?
Caster, I don't know. That seems random to me.
Yeah, it does seem very random. Anybody else hear anything?
Remember? No?
Nicole, you got anything on yours?
They're at 98.5, but that's probably a radio station.
It is, but again, those numbers come through for a reason. I don't know what 98 means here, but we'll see what actually goes on. 98, there is Anne Bonny's actual birth, the year of it is kind of sketchy, but I want to say like she was born in March, so if the word March shows up somewhere, that one we know for sure, but we can't pinpoint the year. But I want to say like they said that she was born in 1698 to 1701, somewhere in that bracket. So again, we'll see what kind of comes up on what else I find. Caster is super. Let's continue on.
I think it.
No problem. Again, might be humidity affecting
Yeah.
that because we're using a different housing unit on it too. I was thinking the waterproof housing unit would trap the humidity. That's why I switched it to that one. So, welcome to the Powder Magazine. So, I will also point out that the number 7 and the name Amanda on Don's list, I didn't really go into explanation. The doctor's birthday is on July 7th. So 7-7. We usually get double 7s when we're in around that area, and we will get bleed over from that Philadelphia Alley story over to here. So again, things will bleed over just like we would have gotten Big John things over at the Pinky Mansion site, vice versa. So again, we're not close to those two spaces anymore, so we'll kind of see what happens with Philly and here. We're going to be talking about that little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. I come back here just to stay out of the way of the other ghost tours because they all like to cut through here. But again, we're going to be hunting here in just a few minutes. But those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're unfamiliar with earthquake bolts, the basic gist of those is that they're turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned at the top of our time together, you can turn those turnbuckles and it will straighten the building back up again by tightening it up. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring these up is because it's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713.
Wow.
This back building, in case you're wondering, because I see some eyes wandering, this is an apartment building probably built in the mid-1800s, just so you guys know. But the building in the front is the reason why we're here, is because it's what I call a familiar. It's like using a toy to attract a child ghost. This is just a familiar time of when Anne Bonny actually spent some time here in Charleston, which is part of the reason why we're here. So, we talked about those Charlestown walls earlier. That garage behind you is where the wall stood, coming up Cumberland Street and going past the powder magazine, and then it went south behind me, going towards the battery. It puts the gunpowder magazine in the corners of the wall on purpose. In the event it gets attacked from pirates or Revolutionary warship, it's going to have a hard time making it this far. But if it goes through the 32-inch thick walls, there's sand in the roof that's designed to go up with the explosion and then fall to put up the fire of the gunpowder. It's another great idea, but that doesn't work either. The only reason I point it out is because the sand is actually still in that roof from the early 1700s, because sand does not disintegrate. You would normally think that it would turn to glass, but it's not being compressed or heated that high. So, our story begins right in the middle of this building's construction. Follow me, there's a lot of twists on this one. So, 1708, a young lady moves here by the name of Anne Cormack. She moves here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Is everybody with me so far? I like to slow down on this one so everybody can stay on track with me. The three of them are running away from his wife. Just so you know, how angry was she that they had to leave Ireland to come here? Anyway, they land in Georgetown. That's just north of here, between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad buys a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass chick, right? So she actually killed one of her servants when she was only 10 or 12 years old with a knife to the belt. Like, I want you to just kind of keep that mentality of this young lady as we're going through her story. We're going to fast forward. The building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. She's going to fall in love pretty quickly. So what happens from there, it's James Bonny. You can already see where this is going because we've already mentioned Anne's full name already. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. I'm not going to approve either. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny, your famous female pirate. But this guy is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British, meaning he's a spy, coward. This is not who she wants. A few years later, she does fall in love with the Captain Jack Sparrow, literally the character, the main person that they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Calico Jack has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of that ship. You can't put a girl on the crew because girls are bad luck on a pirate ship. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and be part of the crew, you can be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, I'm a pirate, let's go. Most of us are adults here, we can put two and two together. Being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate guy on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a female. So, he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby over here, and come back later, we'll figure it out. So, she has the baby, but returns with no child. We have no idea what happened to this kid. She's also dressed like a female. She doesn't give a damn anymore about hiding her gender. And this makes Jack pretty angry, because now everybody's going to find out that he let a female on the crew. But while she was away giving birth, he captured another pirate crew down below deck, and Anne's going to go flirting, because that's what Anne does. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. We have 2 females dressed as men trying to be pirates on the same ship. So, her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for certain. But the British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with the 1 bullet flintlock that they own. Probably because they don't know how to use the cannon yet. So, obviously, they're going to get taken trying to take on a whole fleet of ships. And as they're being arrested, she looks at her bow and captain, Calico Jack, and she says, you should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog. Dog, obviously, being a spirit box word term that I slowed down on. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own after he's tried to hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates who would not fight. So the 2 ladies go in front, and they reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge does not care that they're female. They're still pirates. They're still going to hang. We plead our bellies, was the last thing they said, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he shuffles them off back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still here in the Charlestown area with all of his Irish money, because yes, he was an attorney over there, and he's pretty loaded. And he bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4 has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending. You all kind of had this look of shock on you for just a brief moment. I'm like, wow, he ended it. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died a year later in 1721 from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. There's only 2 questions here that I left out purposely because, again, we're dealing with pirate lore. The 2 things I can actually prove out of this, the rest of it's going to be fair game. Ask whatever you want to out of your spirit boxes. The name of Anne Bonny's parents I can prove for certain. That's the father and the mistress. And the name of it.
And so I don't get anything else. It's never gone off, and I've never got any other numbers. And then right in this area,
Keep going back over again.
yeah, it goes off. I did clear it, and then jump, like it just jumped to 10.0, but like over there I got 0.2,
Right.
0.3.
Now, natural EMF from the Earth goes up to 1.1 with the units of measure that we're using with that mg you're seeing on there. And the reason why I'm using that unit of measure is because it's the same as the K2 blinky light one that we also have out here. That way we can kind of compare what's going on. Now, to kind of put those in perspective for everybody of what milligauss actually measures, behind your TV set is a bunch of wires. If you were to put Dawn's device back there, it's going to go from a 40 to a 60 milligauss based on how many wires you actually have back there. That's about an average reading of behind a TV set. Your microwave running on high and you're standing next to it with that device, about 150 to 170 milligauss. The highest reading I've ever seen that device go to has been in this space at 214 milligauss. That's like putting your head inside the microwave. Again, dangerous levels can cause headaches very, very quickly, which is part of the reason why I give that heated warning at the beginning. But again, going back to the spirit boxes that you all are using, it's about those radio stations. No matter how silly you might think it is, it might actually, somebody might hear drop it like it's hot, and you already know that the mansion caught fire. That, I'm looking for the word hot at that point. So let me kind of get you the answers, and maybe things will start to come to light a little bit for you. So first thing I always do when I break out the tablet is I like to show you at least a mugshot of who we're trying to hunt down. And when I break this out, you don't need to huddle around me. I kind of go around the room so everybody can kind of see. So
Mine just said exit.
exit, so it's asking us to leave, basically. So
What is that? Is that like the same thing she has where you're listening to words?
yes, it's just different. It's just a different style of spirit box. This is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. This is the one that planted all the indigo that we spoke about. Maiden name being Lucas. The first wife was Eliza Lamb Lucas. Lamb Pinckney, not Lamb Lucas. So Lamb and Lucas were the maiden names that we were looking for. This Eliza married Charles at the age of 22. Charles was 45. So again, 22 and 45 do show up here often, but it is a 23-year age gap, and they were only married for 14 years. You can see where all of these numbers might start coming to play. You hear married, and then the number 14. Obviously, we have a link, so that's the kind of thing that we look for. The mansion, you already know, caught fire, but this is the only photograph we have of the mansion, and it is after the fire of 1861. The exact date of this is December 11th. At times, when we have words like burning that showed up on Don's word list, we will get the full date, 12/11/61. These are very, very specific numbers. So again, we get these clues all the time. But by the way, those of you with cameras, you can stop your cameras at this point and kind of give your hands a break. So go ahead, Brian, that would be the square. It'll turn to a circle. Every tour that you're going to take in town is going to talk about a fire. You hit that top button to be able to start it, so every 4 to 5 minutes, just give it a stop and another start.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Have people ever told you about real supernatural experiences? I mean,
99% of the stories are the email me after.
I was just curious.
Oh yeah. I mean, half the reason why people come see me is because they want to use the equipment.
Right. Well, if someone that's experienced more apt to.
I definitely get more activity in that corner.
Yeah, more than likely.
Like there's nothing going on.
Yeah. 99% of people come to me, and the 1% are the hecklers or the people that have never had an experience. Right. So they're, like you said, they're not as into it.
I had a told me something in the house. This guy was pretty. One of her husband, that's like his mother.
I got it.
Martha's holler at me.
Yep.
But thanks. I wanted to try because she said in this corner.
Let's kind of go around the horn. Nicole, have you heard anything on yours?
I just hear a radio
Okay.
coming out.
That's what you want.
And then I
You
heard there
heard
was
14. Another, but were you able to make out what the song lyrics were or anything?
No, they never came in clear enough.
Okay.
To
Okay. Next beer box. Lauren, have you heard anything else besides that one specific year? All right, nothing on yours, Lauren. Bailey, sorry. I'm gonna get this name right. Nothing that you can make out. Patricia?
I just heard a number and then a bar radio.
Right, and it's a radio sweeper, and that's how we're using it. Is we're using the song lyrics of DJs to be able to convey messages to see if there's actually anything that's coming through back to us. It's usually a 50-50 shot that you can see what's going on. We have the number 8 that was heard, right? So again, the number 8 is somewhat relevant, but not really. It's a very vague reach. It's a matter of like there would be the number 20 in front of it. So if Bailey heard the number 20 at the same time that you heard the number 8, Eliza's birthday is December 28th. So again, I would take that as a vague stretch, but I would need something else to even further verify that because it was a 20 and 8. Again, kind of a vague stretch. But what were the other things that you think you may have heard? Do you remember? Not remember. Okay. Again, that radio station that everybody's listening to that you keep telling me I just keep hearing radio, that's the way we're using these tonight. So all of these, like again, these white noise machines that you guys see on TV, those disembodied voices are a rarity. I only see about 4 to 5 of those per year. These guys are claiming to get 8 to 10 of those per episode.
Yeah.
So again, take that for what it's worth. I do have disembodied voices that have come out of these spaces we're going to tonight, but one of the quicker, easier methods to actually get a message out of these is what you're using tonight. Slow them down, allow words to come through. And when I say specific details, it's going to be specific details. So far what we have is the highest thing that we've gotten is that motion, or the EMF reading that we had of 16.9